Jesse Michaels just dropped this in Twitter. My buddy Kyle offered to double this, so we are now at $100,000 payment for a simple, unedited podcast appearance from Sean Kirkpatrick. Sean Kirkpatrick, take the money, man. Take the money, but he won't. I seriously don't see him doing this, but I hope he does. If he does, this will be a fantastic podcast, and I would love to see it. Anyways, you guys, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp had their podcast today. Weaponized, Unweaponized. They talk about the Wall Street Journal and how Sean Kirkpatrick may have had something to do with the misinformation that they are spreading out to the public.
Robert Hastings, Merrick's opinions, I think they deserve an answer from the Wall Street Journal. I think there are other comments and criticisms that have come out by witnesses, officials who spoke directly with the reporters, who now say they were misquoted. They were misled. What was used is not what they said. And those are serious allegations to make. The Wall Street Journal, as a respected newspaper, has an obligation to address those things. And they haven't done it yet. So maybe they'll do that in the future. I still think these are good journalists. These reporters are smart, and they got locked onto a theme. And it seems like they knew the theme, what it was going to be going into this story, and went and looked for people who would support that theme. This entire project, these two parts, seemed to me to be a Sean Kirkpatrick production. Is that he was, in that first story, it was like a dead giveaway. He was described as like the bespectacled, avuncular scientist. Oh, what a swell guy he sounds like. Nothing about Sean Kirkpatrick's very spotty his history with the truth and problems that he's had in absolute lies, such as the meeting with the Skinwalker Ranch crew that he said never happened until they produced photos of it, and there he is sitting with them for a couple of hours. It's not a kind of briefing that you'd forget about, and he is not well respected by other intelligence officials. They figured out right from the get-go, Jeremy, we were in Huntsville, Alabama, the day that his name surfaced. He's going to get the job. And the impression was almost universal by people who knew him. Oh, man, they knew what that meant for the program, for Arrow, and what direction it would take. And sure enough, it ended up exactly that way. He doesn't like this topic. He is very thin-skinned, as we've discussed before. He does not take criticism very well. And this feels like the Sean Kirkpatrick revenge tour. It's like an aging rock band that promises it's going to retire, and then year after year it keeps having a farewell tour that goes on and on. This guy supposedly left this topic. He wants nothing to do with it, and yet every time we turn around, there he is bashing it all over again. He can't let it go. It's like a girlfriend who spurned him somewhere, can't let it go, and I think he is the primary source for this. That's the guy that they listen to. They need to address some of these questions, even if maybe they've got an answer for it. Maybe there's a way to explain how they could be so wrong about this EMP stuff that Merrick was talking about, or these nuclear incidents. I really hope that that's going to happen. I no longer am holding my breath for that to happen, and it's too bad. As you mentioned earlier, when you got a Department of Defense person who is saying we have no evidence of extraterrestrials, that is a dead giveaway. That's a giant red flag. It's like bloody handwriting on the wall to say we're avoiding the central question here is we don't know where these things are from. We don't know what the non-human intelligence is. I don't anyway. And I would not expect them to know either. They might have an idea if they've got bodies and crash materials, but they don't know. So when they say there no evidence of extraterrestrials, they're probably being truthful. But what would that evidence look like? It's like that quote from that whistleblower that you raised. We're not going to any other planets anytime soon and looking for, their civilization and their manufacturing techniques. So it's ingenious and deceptive, and it's disappointing, but not surprising.
Yeah, they're not being truthful. What they're doing is they're doing mental gymnastics, a word dance, so that they can lie without saying an explicit lie that could get them in trouble legally. So let's call it as it is. But look, I think my message is, hey, Joel, everybody loves a redemption story. If you have honor and you have integrity, then I got your back. Everybody's got your back. And everybody loves a redemption story when a journalist actually says, I got it wrong and here's why. So that's first of all. Second of all, George, for the first time in a long time, because I don't do this, I'm going to make a prediction. My prediction is that there is no turning back and that people are going to learn shit live. And that's either going to be in Congress, like the easy way, or they're going to learn it live in another way. But I am making that prediction. Let's see what that riddle means.
If I were members of Congress, Representative Luna, Burchett, Jamie Raskin, AOC, people who have shown an interest in this subject, Mike Rounds, Chuck Schumer, I'd be kind of pissed. And I'd want to call some people on the carpet. I would want to have Sean Kirkpatrick come back because he's had a lot of meetings with members of Congress in public and in behind closed doors. Did he tell them this story? By the way, this is all disinformation. This is counterintelligence. None of this stuff is true. Is that what he told them? Because I got a feeling it's not what he told them. And if I were them, I'd have his name on the list at the top of the list. Come on back, Sean. Let's have a conversation. And I'd love to be a fly on the wall when that interrogation takes place.
I've heard that even with Inside Arrow, like now, they're like, what the fuck is Kirkpatrick and that other guy Phillips talking about? Like the way it was presented. So that's interesting to me that even with an Arrow, there's like this bickering. We got eyes everywhere, George. That's high confidence information. So yeah, man, look, when Dr. Sean, when he went up and did that testifying, it wasn't testifying. It was up there with Gillibrand and she was like, oh, what do you need? How can I help you? You're so handsome. Cool cufflinks. There wasn't a congressional hard press. What are you doing with our money and with our mandate? It wasn't that. I would love to have Rep. Luna who would tear Sean Kirkpatrick apart. If she gets 1 minute to question him live like that, she would tear his ass apart because he's lied verifiably against the American public to the detriment of the need to know of the nation that he has sworn to protect and taken an oath to. He's lied to us. And I think that's super fucked up.
I know I saw, some responses from those folks who were quoted in that story as saying, see, we tell the truth and those crazy UFO people attack us, as if there's not going to be any response to these two stories. Yeah. We're supposed to sit back and everybody accept it. Well, it's in the Wall Street Journal. Sean Kirkpatrick said it. I guess it must be true. The reaction is justified. I'm uncomfortable with some of the personal insinuations made about the reporters. Well, this guy worked here and is in a previous job, and this lady worked on this. They have connections to the deep state and the shadowy world and the people who've been spreading lies about UFOs. I don't want to see that. We haven't looked into it ourselves. I still want to think of them as honorable people and good journalists, and I hope they will do the right thing going forward. I'm not hopeful.
George. Yeah, I mean, the trick of being seen as an honorable and honest journalist is what, George?
Well, it's not a trick. It's, the trick is to actually be trustworthy,
Exactly. He's got a chance. So yeah, this is not a personal attack. You don't got to do it. Just like be an honest, honorable journalist and, tell us what other people have told you that you now know to be different than what you reported. Simple as that. Easy. Done. That's it.
The one bright spot for the two Wall Street Journal reports, we weren't in them.
All right, guys, that's it for that one. I want you guys to see the end of the episode. I want you guys just to hear Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp talking about Sean Kirkpatrick and what they think is going on here and what his involvement is with the Wall Street Journal. Now, I'm going to have this Jeremy Corbell. So at the end of the video, go to my description. There will be a link there. Jeremy Corbell. It's going to be credited to Jeremy Corbell because that's where this footage was pulled from. And I want you guys to go over there and watch that episode. I didn't want to air any of that other stuff here because I wanted to leave some of it for you guys to go check out on Jeremy's channel. But I did want you guys to hear what the two of them had to say here between the two of them and what their perspective is at anything. Do you think Sean Kirkpatrick is going to take Jesse Michaels up on his offer for $100,000? I mean, that ain't no chump change, man. They're offering him a pretty decent bag of cash, right? Let me know what you guys think. I am skeptical. I hope he does because I think it would be a fantastic podcast. But let's see what happens, right? You guys like and subscribe. Peace out.